years of hunting and habitat destruction.
Deep in Florida's waters, something impossible was happening. The swamp's most fearsome predators were vanishing without a trace. Scientists were baffled because nothing hunts a full-grown crocodile. Years later, the truth they uncovered would force Florida to consider labeling certain areas as designated man-eater zones. This is the story of an invasion that rewrote everything we thought we knew about Florida's wildlife. The Florida Everglades, nicknamed the River of Grass, is one of Earth's most unique ecosystems. Beneath its serene beauty lies a brutal hierarchy where only the strongest survive. For millions of years, two apex predators ruled these waters: the American alligator and the American crocodile. The alligator is the aggressive enforcer, a powerful generalist thriving in freshwater territories. Its cousin, the American crocodile, couldn't be more different. Shy and elusive, these creatures actively avoid humans. Their safety record speaks volumes. There has never been a single confirmed fatal attack by an American crocodile on a human in United States history. These are gentle giants that want nothing to do with people. These two species coexisted peacefully for generations. Alligators dominated freshwater areas while crocodiles claimed saltwater territories. Nature had perfected this balance over millions of years. Everyone knew the rules, and the system worked flawlessly until 2009, when everything changed. Veteran airboat captains who'd spent decades navigating these waters started noticing something disturbing. Dominant male crocodiles that had defended prime nesting spots for years simply disappeared. Their prized basking sites sat abandoned, territories they'd fought to maintain for over a decade. Then came the grisly discoveries. Remains of crocodiles and alligators began appearing throughout the swamps and canals, but these weren't ordinary deaths. The violence was extreme and unnecessary, as if something was systematically clearing the area. The most chilling change was the silence. Protected breeding grounds that should have been teeming with juvenile crocodiles stood empty. Years of conservation success were being erased overnight. The natural rulers had adopted flight behavior. When apex predators run, you know the threat is undeniable. Even stranger, the normally docile American crocodiles suddenly became aggressive toward humans. Fishermen reported attacks and boat chases, behaviors completely out of character for this shy species. Something was bullying them out of their own habitat, and biologists knew an external force was at play. Everyone's first suspect was Florida's infamous invader, the Burmese python. These massive constrictors had already devastated local mammal populations, consuming everything from raccoons to deer. It seemed logical they'd grown ambitious enough to target crocodiles. Back in 2005, a python tried swallowing a 6-foot alligator whole and literally burst open in the attempt. As python populations expanded into crocodile territory, most assumed the snakes had finally won the turf war. Wildlife officials initially embraced this theory. After all, pythons were already public enemy number one in the Everglades. They'd wiped out over 90% of the area's raccoons and opossums. Finding another victim on their list seemed inevitable, but forensic evidence told a different story. Pythons kill by constriction, suffocating their prey through powerful coils. The missing crocodiles showed no signs of being crushed. Whatever was killing Florida's apex predators wasn't a snake. The real killer was hiding in plain sight. The breakthrough came when University of Florida researchers captured a young crocodile miles from any known American crocodile territory. The moment they examined it, alarm bells rang. Something about this animal felt wrong, an uncanny valley effect. Its snout was unusually broad and robust. Its coloration was darker, olive black instead of the familiar grayish-green. But the most concerning trait was its temperament. This juvenile displayed aggressive, predatory boldness never seen in native crocodiles, even full-grown adults. Scientists wondered if they'd discovered a mutant or perhaps a crocodile-alligator hybrid. They sent tissue samples for DNA analysis and waited anxiously for months. Meanwhile, more sightings poured in. These mystery crocodiles were growing an estimated 28% faster than native species and showing unprecedented aggression. Whatever this creature was, it wasn't just surviving, it was thriving far better than the native kings. When DNA results finally arrived, they revealed a nightmare scenario. This wasn't a Native American crocodile, a mutant, or a hybrid. The DNA matched perfectly with Crocodilus niloticus. They'd found a Nile crocodile. The difference between these species is staggering. Native American crocodiles have 0 recorded human fatalities in the United States. Nile crocodiles, however, are responsible for an estimated 50 to 200 human deaths annually across Africa. They're indiscriminate man-eaters, whose biology is optimized for hunting large mammals. These beasts can reach 18 feet in length, weigh over a ton, and possess one of the strongest bite forces in the animal kingdom. The native crocodiles weren't dying from natural causes. They were being outcompeted, displaced, and likely preyed upon by a cousin that was stronger, faster, and exponentially more aggressive. An apex predator from 6,000 miles away had established itself in Florida's heart, hiding among native species due to their similar appearance. The implications were terrifying. If these crocodiles could go unnoticed for years while breeding successfully, what else might be lurking in Florida's waterways? More importantly, how many were already out there, watching from beneath the murky surface? Nile crocodiles obviously didn't swim across the Atlantic Ocean. The answer points directly to human activity, specifically Florida's massive exotic pet trade. While Nile crocodiles are strictly illegal without special permits, reckless collectors treat these deadly predators as status symbols. When their cute hatchling becomes an unmanageable man-eater, they simply release it into the wild. Genetic testing revealed the captured Nile crocodiles were nearly identical, proving they originated from a small group, likely from a single irresponsible release years ago. That one criminal act created an ultimate ecological threat. These invaders had been living undetected in the Everglades for years, successfully camouflaging among native species. They'd already established a breeding population. The fear wasn't just their presence, it was their potential spread. Unlike native species, Nile crocodiles handle cold weather easily, meaning they could expand northward into Georgia and beyond. This revelation triggered immediate panic. Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission launched an urgent mission to capture the invaders before the breeding population exploded. They successfully captured 3 Nile crocodiles initially, but everyone knew more lurked in the swamps. The stakes couldn't be higher. These fast-growing predators could easily outcompete the already endangered American crocodiles, potentially driving them to extinction. Their cold tolerance meant possible expansion throughout Florida and beyond. But the deeper investigators looked, the clearer the real culprit became. The Nile crocodile is merely a weapon. Humans pulled the trigger. Nearly every biological disaster in Florida has human fingerprints all over it. Burmese pythons, green iguanas, and now Africa's deadliest crocodiles all stem from the exotic pet trade. Florida has become a dumping ground for invasive species due to carelessness, greed, and negligence. But the cruelty runs deeper. American crocodiles were already fighting a losing war before their African cousins arrived. Coastal mangroves, their natural habitat, have been replaced with luxury condos and hotels. The Everglades water flow has been redirected for agriculture, poisoning remaining habitats with runoff. Native crocodiles were pushed into smaller corners, leaving them stressed and vulnerable. Conservation efforts helped these species recover, only for habitat destruction to weaken them. Then, reckless pet owners dropped a super predator into the cage with animals that never stood a chance. If Nile crocodiles establish a self-sustaining population, Florida's rulebook changes forever. Currently, Everglades signs warn visitors about alligators, mostly reminding people not to feed them. In this new reality, those signs would warn about active man-eaters. The Everglades would transform from beautiful wilderness into a designated danger zone where families enter at their own risk. That perception shift carries a massive price tag. Florida's ecotourism industry depends on people kayaking mangroves and fishing backcountry waters. Headlines about human-hunting predators could devastate tourism. The state would spend millions annually just tracking these beasts. And here's the ugliest part. Officials can't simply catch and relocate them. To protect human life, they must launch permanent eradication programs, hunting and killing these animals on a large scale. We'd effectively declare war on an apex predator because we were too careless to keep it out in the first place. For years, we blamed pythons for emptying the swamps. We wanted the villain to be a snake, but we were wrong. The monster has always been us. We created perfect conditions for this nightmare through habitat destruction, pollution, and the exotic pet trade. We opened the door to invasion, and now we're facing consequences that could reshape Florida's relationship with wilderness forever. The question isn't whether Nile crocodiles should be hunted. It's whether we'll finally learn from our mistakes and stop the next disaster before it happens. Because if we don't change our behavior, there will be a next time. And next time, we might not be so lucky.